Hello and welcome to A Cat in the Garden. Today I want to talk about a crop that I find to be really easy to grow, but it is a more unique crop in a backyard garden, and that is soybeans. So one of my most popular videos on YouTube is actually a short about how I grow soybeans, but it is a short, and so I wanted to do a more in-depth look at these plants and how they're really super easy to grow. I like to use them for edamame. I like to cook them up and then use some chili oil to make them a little spicy. That's my main use for them, but obviously soybeans have lots of different uses. This is the kind that I grow. I start out with seeds from Baker Creek Seeds, but I also save my own seeds, and I think that's a lot of what I have growing right now is what I've saved from my own seeds. So I also have in my little patch of them every single life stage of the plant, and there are some things that I didn't even know when I first started growing these, so I'm going to share that and show you all the different life stages and how I keep the life cycle going for soybeans. Unfortunately, a few of the plants just got trampled by Saffron. She likes rolling around in patches of dirt, but I do have most of the life stages here. So this is a little seedling. I had a few that were popping up, but unfortunately Saffron did squish a few and they died. But I also have this flowering stage of the plant. So these are what the flowers look like. They are very small. I was not expecting them to be this small, given that the other beans that I grow have larger flowers. And then this is the pod stage. So they can be more on the green side, but then they do start to turn yellow when they're ready. And then if you are looking for dry soybeans, this is what they look like when they start to dry off. And then finally, once they are completely dry, they do turn brown and the whole plant dies off. So with soybeans, you actually only get one production. They don't keep producing like the other beans that I grow, and all of the leaves will fall off like this. And once they're really done, the pod will open and reveal a seed inside. Now this one doesn't have a large seed in it. These are going to be the bigger ones. And what will happen with these seeds, as actually you can kind of see in this one here, is that they will turn black, and that's when you want to save them for a drying bean. If they turn black, they're not really for eating for edamame. So those I typically use to start over my plants again. So I'll probably pick a couple of these, show you what the seeds inside look like, and then go from there. So I picked one that was yellowing and ones that were already brown just to show the difference. So this is a yellowing one, and they're pretty easy to pop open once they're dry, but this one's gonna be a little bit more difficult. Just pop that in half. And so this is turning black. It's not quite black yet. So this is what it looks like. It's more of a purplish color right here. So this will turn black, and I will be using this as a dry soybean to start over again, just as you would any kind of seed. The other one that was in the pod is not quite as dark, but these will dry out and they will lose a little bit of their size, and not too much, maybe at most a third of their size. So these are a really good size. That's what you want when you're saving seeds from the soybeans. I will dry them out on my counter, put them back in the little bag that I have, little seed packet, and then I will use them to start over again. Now, if you do have ones that are already dry, like this, the seeds should pop right open. Though the dry pods I have at the moment weren't the biggest, so these seeds don't look quite as good as I think they would. I'm gonna crack open a couple until I get some nicer looking ones. So these are a bit smaller, but I do have a few here in my hand. The ones that are black like this, I'm not sure if these will sprout. The brown ones, they just look a little bit misshapen. They typically keep a rounder shape and will turn black. So those are the ones that I'm gonna keep and start again from seed. I don't think it matters too much how big they are. I mean, they all grow little plants for me, so I keep them in here. I think these are all ones that I've grown at this point in the season. The others, like I said, that weren't quite dry yet, I'll just dry them out on my counter and then they'll go back in the bag. I do originally start, and I've bought a couple times because there have been times when I just don't get quite enough. I'll eat them instead of saving the seeds. So I've bought these a couple times. This is the variety that I grow from Baker Creek Seeds. They do have a couple different kinds on their website. This is just the one that I chose and I keep growing. It grows really well in my climate, but honestly, all beans seem to grow well in Texas. So take that as you will. I would definitely read the information about the beans before you buy them. Now for some facts about them. Soybeans are an annual. And not just are they an annual, like I said, they will produce once and then just be done. So they're a little bit bushy. The ones that I've been growing, they don't get quite as bushy as what I have seen growing up, when farmers would grow dry soybeans. They'd be giant plants. So these don't get quite as big for me, but I have noticed that I can plant them much closer together than I originally thought. I thought they'd have to be like 6 to 12 inches apart, but I can grow them really super compact, almost like you would peas. Obviously peas are climbing, these are bush beans, but you can grow them really close together for larger harvests. There are certain times of year where I've noticed that I personally get more beans than not. So right in the heat of summer, the plants don't look quite as good, quite as bushy. The plants that I just showed that were dying off, those were the summer plants. And the spring and fall ones for me, because the weather is more in the 70s, 80s, I'll get a bigger, nicer, greener plant, and I'll get a lot more pods on the plant itself. So I am in that little transition phase. I am gonna plant some more seeds here because that is another thing. They take 60 to 80 days to reach maturity in my experience. It does say 80 days on the packet, but I have had some in 60. And so with these, you can, once they're done, start another round. I like to do that constantly so that I'm always having soybeans throughout the summer. They are not frost tolerant at all. None of the beans that in my experience I've grown are. So you can only grow them in the warmer months, but you can get them started as soon as the ground is warm enough and then grow them up until your first frost. Like all the other beans I've grown, these do not like to be transplanted. I find that they prefer to just be direct sown, and they are very easy to get to grow from seed when you direct sow them. I typically have new sprouts in 3 to 5 days, maybe a week max, but in that time frame you can get a lot of plants started and growing, and then have sort of a patch of soybeans. I don't find that they really need a companion plant. They can grow just fine by themselves, and they can be quite productive if you've got a lot of them. And I have found that if I have a lot of them going at the same time, I've had enough for maybe 3 or 4 servings of edamame at a time. So like I said, I'm gonna be planting some of the soybeans in here. It says on the packet to put them 6 inches apart. I think you can even do them closer personally, and maybe in 1/2 inch to 1 inch in depth, and they'll do just fine. So just plop them in, cover the soil back up, and remember to water, and then they'll be good to go. Any of these here as well that have finished producing the soybeans, like here, these were just about done, so I planted a seed right next to it. These are completely done now. I don't think the pods on these have really big seeds that are left. I got all of the good ones already. So if they haven't died off, just chop them back, they'll die off. And now I've already got the next generation growing. That's all for today's video. I find soybeans to be pretty simple growing in a backyard garden, but it is a crop that most people don't really know that you can grow in a backyard garden, and so hopefully this provides a little bit more in-depth information than the short that I posted, I think over 2 years ago now. It's been a really fun journey learning how to grow different beans in my garden. Growing up, didn't grow beans at all, so this is all just things that I've learned through trial and error, and it's been a lot of fun. I grow about 5 or 6 different types of beans, and soybeans are definitely a fun one. They are the most unique, and it's really easy to just keep a cycle going throughout the entire summer. But thank you so much for watching with us. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss anything from us here on the channel. Thanks again, and we'll catch you in the next one.